So yeah, John. Just want to talk about the F3 Derby. I mean, how many you've played it a lot now. I mean, what does it mean to you as a Mariners player?
Yeah, it's a massive game for us. You know, we know mainly it's for the fans. You know, and obviously they've got the big rivalry with Newcastle fans, but you know we want to always be the better club. You know, we want to make sure that we always win the games at home and make sure that we play well for our fans. And you know, we've had some great games against them, some big rivalries and some big players. You know, have clashed in times over derby games. So you know, they're always enjoyable. They're always very physical at the start. You know, there's always some rash tackles being flung in there, but you know, we look forward to it. We get pumped up, and I know Newcastle does as well. And you know, I don't think anything's going to change this week at Bluetongue. I think it's going to be a massive game.
Any of those games that particularly stand out for you? Any particular incidents that really stick in the mind?
Oh, look, I think if you're looking for a game, when we were 2-0 down in the semi-final and we turned around at Bluetongue and knocked them over 3-2 on aggregate, you know, I think that was probably the best night I've seen at Bluetongue for a long time. You know, the crowd was 17,000 and it's kind of impossible for us to win that day, we got told. So for us to come back and win that game was a massive night, you know, and I know we lost the grand final that year to Newcastle, but that game was massive for us, and you know, I think that really got the rivalry going between Newcastle and Central Coast.
And obviously, as you mentioned, that grand final, I mean, that was an interesting one because it was such a close game, and then there was the non-handball by a Central Coast boy in James Holland for the Jets. So
yeah, you know, I think the most disappointing thing about the grand final was the ending. You know, the way stuff happened on the park, and Danny Vukovic obviously suspension. You know, we were very disappointed with what happened in the end, and you know, we couldn't make the referee give us a penalty, even though we thought it was a handball, and obviously they'll say it wasn't a handball. And you know, I think on the day they probably deserved to win. You know, they played really well, and they changed their formation, which we wasn't expecting at the time. It took us a while to get into the game, and once we got in the game, I thought maybe we could have snatched a draw and gone extra time, but it wasn't to be.
And another one that was actually pre-season before the A-League started was the incident with Andrew Durante and I think it was Nick Merger.
Yep.
Were you playing in that game, or was that something you remember?
Yeah, I do remember that day.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of kicked off after the game in the tunnel as well. And you know, I think, you know, obviously Merge didn't go out deliberately to hurt Durante, but you know, I think that really started what was meant to be a good rivalry between us and Newcastle. And you know, obviously Merge went for the ball and caught him as a late tackle. You know, we know it was a bad tackle, and he didn't deliberately go out to hurt him, but you know, it kicked off after the game in the tunnel. And those things happen in football. You know, it's a passionate sport, and everyone loves their team. And you know, in a way, it's good to see that two teams, you know, want to protect their own players, and that's just what happens sometimes.
And obviously, with the Mariners now, you've got Daniel McBreen, a born and bred Newcastle boy, obviously a long-time Mariner. Is he pretty fired up for this weekend, or he likes getting one over the Jets? Because he played for the forerunner in the NSL, the Newcastle United.
Yeah, he did. You know, he always tells us about Newcastle United, about how many goals he scored and how well he done there. And you know, Mac is a great guy, and I know he's fired up for this one. He's hopefully going to score a goal. You know, he got closer last week against Sydney, and I know he's a little bit frustrated. He hasn't hit the back of the net only once this season, but you know, he's been playing really well. His general play's been fantastic, and hopefully he can score and get another one over Newcastle.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.